This is the homework helper for Chapter 1, Section 11 in the 7th grade workbook, solving equations by multiplying or dividing. Now, even though we moved on from adding and subtracting to multiplying and dividing, that doesn't change any of the rules, really, that we use to solve an equation. We still want to have variables on the left, as in the left of the equal sign. Again, location is always going to be compared to that equal sign. We somehow want to end up with all our numbers on the right side of the equal sign. We are able to flip the equation around whenever I need to, which we'll probably do if the variable is on the wrong side to begin with, as in the variable would end up on the right side to begin with. And anytime I want to move something to the opposite side, the way I do that is by doing the opposite. Now, as you can see, what's a little bit different about this presentation here in 111 versus 110 is the sections are divided up here. They've got all the questions that start off with division up top, and then all the questions with multiplication down bottom. So we don't have to sit there and intermingle these in our mind. We're going to do one thing all at the top and then one thing all down there at the bottom. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first 4 questions there, and then I'm going to go down and do the next 4 questions in the multiplication set with you. Now, one thing you do see here is that these are all written in different ways. In the book, we tended to favor the way that they're written as looking like fractions, really. So if you want to, we can go ahead and rewrite a couple of these right away so they do look like that, because that is kind of what we're used to. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite number 2 right away. Instead of k divided by 24 equals 85, I'm going to write k over 24 equals 85. Same thing, just written differently. And in number 4, instead of 42 equals w divided by 18, well, I'm going to change it, but I'm also at the same time, to save myself a step, I'm going to go ahead and flip this around. Why? Well, notice the variable is on the wrong side of the equal sign. The variable is on the right side of the equal sign right now, but he actually belongs on the left side of the equal sign. So I'm going to go ahead and flip these around and rewrite this as w over 18 equals 42. Now, looking at the other 2 questions I'm going to touch, 1 and 3, they suffer from that same issue in that the variable on both of those is on the right side of the equal sign. But I don't want the variable on the right side of the equal sign. I actually want the variable on the left side of the equal sign. So in 1 and 3, let's go ahead and flip both of those around now. So I'm going to invert number 1 and make it say r over 4 equals 68. And in number 3, I'm going to make it say x over 4 equals 255. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at solving here now. Again, we're going to run through our rules, and we say we want to keep the variable on the left. Well, notice in all of these now, because we did the fixes, the variable is on the left in every single one of these questions. So that's not an issue. And then we want to say numbers on the right. Well, in each one of these questions, we do have a number that's on the right. And again, when I'm talking about locations, I mean compared to the equal sign. So the right side of the equal sign. So that means 68 is in the proper location, and 85 is in the proper location, 255 is in the proper location, and 42 is in the proper location. All right, so we see the numbers that are wrong then. In number 1, it would be the 4. In number 2, it's the 24. In number 3, it's the 4. And in number 4, it's the 18. Well, those are numbers. They're going to have to move to the opposite side. How do I do that? I do the opposite. Well, notice in each one of those, that's the number we're dividing by. For instance, in number 1, I'm dividing by 4. So when I'm talking about doing the opposite to move to the other side, the opposite of dividing by 4 is to multiply by 4. So that's how I'm going to look at moving the 4. Now, remember how you show multiplication in this sense, because that's kind of key to making sure you're showing your work correctly. You're not going to go underneath and write x4 on both sides. What you want to do here to show that you're multiplying both sides by 4 is you're going to use giant parentheses. So put both these things in giant parentheses, because remember, parentheses mean multiplication, and then throw some 4's down on the outside. Well, over here, dividing by 4 and multiplying by 4 wash each other out. It just leaves me r. And on the right side there, I've got 68 times 4, which is what R is going to be. 68 times 4 is going to give me 272. All right, number 2, k over 24 equals 85. Again, 85 is okay, but 24 is a number, it needs to be over there with 85. So how do I move it? I do the opposite. Right now I'm dividing by 24. The opposite is to multiply by 24. So I'm going to put these guys in parentheses. Again, that's how I'm going to show multiplication, at least the proper way to show it. And then I'm going to throw some 24s down on each side. Multiply by 24, divide by 24, cancels each other out. And then on the right side, I've got 85 times 24, which is going to give me 2,040. So k equals 2,040. Now, remember what we did to check these in the last section. That also will still work. Plug in that number for the variable. So change k into 2040. So on the left side, I've got 2040 divided by 24, which is going to give me 85. It should match up what the other side says. If it does, you did this correctly. Number 3, 255 equals x over 4, which we've changed to x over 4 equals 255. And we've identified that 255 is the number that's in the correct location. So we're going to look at moving the 4 out of the way here. Well, how am I going to move the 4? I'm going to do the opposite. Right now this says I'm dividing by 4. So the opposite is to multiply both sides by 4, which is what those parentheses show me. So that's just going to leave me x here because divide by 4, multiply by 4, those are going to wash each other out. 255 times 4 is the solution of 1,020. And again, we can check it. Do 1,020 divided by 4. You get 255. Since the other side says 255, we check. All right, finally we'll look at number 4 there. W over 18 equals 42. So right now this says I'm dividing by 18. So the opposite, which is what I'm going to have to do because that number needs to get kicked over to the right side, I'm going to multiply by 18. Again, I'm going to lay down some giant parentheses and show that I'm multiplying each side by 18. Divide by 18, multiply by 18, cancels each other out, leaves me my variable, W, everybody's favorite president. And then over here, I'm going to multiply together the 42 and the 18, and that's going to give me 756.